people that had Iowa Hawkeye shirts on,
Fair enough.
and had, cauliflower ears. So yeah, if I came back and I lost, and it was no big deal. I wasn't in front of anybody. I didn't even know the one guy that was cornering me. It was a friend of a friend. So, like I said, I did it on last night, and I didn't have to cut weight, and I just wanted to get away, and it was more like a vacation, and just kind of, it was a different experience.
Was that the least pressure you've ever felt in a
Yeah,
fight?
it was great. Yeah, I mean, and I fought in Chicago once before, and that was a rough crowd. They were booing me, and Cardinals suck, and saying all kinds of stuff to me, throwing stuff at me and different things like that. This was different. They're very appreciative of the fight and everything else, and even though 200 of them were there to see him, it wasn't that bad.
Right. You're always so busy. You're with work and family and everything else. It's sort of nice to do it at the last minute.
Yeah, my cardio stunk. I'll be honest. If they would have went to the second or third round, I was probably in trouble.
Oh, that's what I was going to ask you.
Yeah.
First round win?
Yeah, first round win. So, I went with the intention that I'm going to have to end this quick, or otherwise I'm going to either get beat up or lost, But, like I said, it was one of those things where it was kind of a challenge, and like I said, I fight here in St. Louis in front of, 100 friends. I've sold, in my first fight, I sold 110 tickets. That's a lot of pressure, and then my last fight was a title fight, so that added to the pressure and stuff like that. So, like I said, if I lost, it was just an experience. It's no big deal. So, and plus, I can always use excuse. I was fighting out of my weight class. The 20 pounds out of my weight class.
How long did the round last?
103.
103.
Yeah.
So he gave up his back pretty quick, huh?
Well, I tried to dirty box me off the cage. He had pinned me up against the cage, and I slipped under, and then I had one leg in between his legs, and I pulled it up the hook, and actually was standing up on his back. He was facing the cage. I was on his back,
Yeah.
and he tried to just like Nestle T plunge me, like drop backwards and get me off.
Yeah.
And when he did, I just punched him a couple times in the face and sunk it in from there. So it was nice, and like I said, it was that was probably the most excited after a win I've been since my first one. So
Before we go on, let's introduce our first guest for the night. Joining us from the Combat Showcase is Andy Eckel and Mark Bland. Welcome, guys.
How's it going?
How you doing?
Doing good. So tell us about the Combat Showcase. This is a show that both you guys host. And where do we catch it, and tell us what it's all about?
Well, the funny thing is you can't catch it in St. Louis at all, and this is really funny. Combat Showcase is it's a television show sanctioned by Kick International. Frank Babcock, Ted Goss, those guys put this together. Great guys, and basically the show's on in like 75 plus cities throughout the United States. Independent stations like the CW11 here in St. Louis. 75 of those, plus it's on a couple of cable networks. We're working for the MAV network right now and SITV. And right now we're hitting it at somewhere around 20 to 23 million homes nationwide. We're probably getting in the range of somewhere where a million.
7 to 8.
7, 8. No, well, I wouldn't say, that would be if we got, I would say right now we're probably hitting about 1.5 to 2 million homes that are physically watching the show each week, because the potential market impacts 23 million, but of course there's only so many people, not everybody's watching American Idol at the same time, and so it's not possible. So we're hitting probably about 2 million homes that are watching us nationwide each week, and then once we get SITV or the MAV network locked into place, which should be around week 26, which is, we did 19 today, we shot show 19 today. So that'll probably add another 20 million on top of that. So we'll be hitting about 50 million homes when it's all said and done.
So how often are you shooting these shows, and how do you shoot them? Do you go on location to shoot them, or are they done in a studio? How's it done?
What happens is the promoters themselves actually record the shows, and then they send us the fight footage. We take it, cut it, make it to where the commercials have to be or whatnot, and from there we just go in the studio and we call over it.
You do that here in St. Louis?
Yeah.
We take care of all that in Brentwood. And right now, I mean, it's exciting. I mean, we get stuff. We've had stuff from Tarkio, Missouri, from Chicago, from Las Vegas, from Columbia.
Yeah, one of our ones we just called from Vegas. The middle of the show, we had a special guest appearance by Quentin Rampage Jackson, right in the middle of it. And see, that's the thing. The beauty of it is it's all independent and amateur mixed martial artists. And so we're getting from all these. And what we want is we want people throughout the United States, whoever's got an MMA company or promotions. As long, it doesn't even have to necessarily be sanctioned by Kick. I mean, Kick wants it to be sanctioned by them, but send us your footage, send us your stuff, because what we're trying to do is take the focus off of the pros. And not saying that the pros don't deserve it, but they've already got they're getting their just desserts right now. What we're trying to do is showcase the up and coming talent. We're trying to show the minor leagues as they're making that move towards the professional ranks. And that's what's really important to us, and we think it's actually turned out pretty well so far.
And we've actually called a couple fights for some guys that have already gone pro. Kevin Kroon and Jose Vega have both gone pro off the Midwest Fight League, I believe, out of Columbia.
Mhm.
And we called some of their matches early on in the season. So
And the beauty of it is we get to see a lot of really great, like one of the things you said earlier, how you sunk in the rear naked choke. I would say probably 75% at least of the matches that we call
yeah,
probably end on a rear naked choke of some sort.
yeah, either rear naked choke. We've seen quite a few really devastating knockouts.
We saw
It's been pretty fun.
we saw a crazy. We called a crazy. Today's show we called a crazy arm triangle. We called it an arm triangle, a face-to-face arm triangle.
Yeah, it was an arm triangle. The guy was in half guard, ended up sinking in the arm triangle. Did a really nice job, passed his guard, went side control, kept turning with his arm triangle, and ended up tapping the guy out.
We've also seen some crazy dudes with heart too, man. We've seen some guys just take one hell of a pounding and never tap, never once,
Yeah.
never did anything. Just took it, and then they ended up losing on a decision. Well, no, of course. I mean,
No, you
these
see
guys
that all the
got
time in
pounded to the
amateur.
point where when you're watching them, you're like sitting there going, "Oh my God, dude, seriously, you might want to just go ahead. Somebody from his corner, throw the towel in." Now, we're not saying that live on the air, but hey, it's just one of those things you think in the back of your mind.
Should the referee have stopped the fight, you think?
There's a couple times.
There was a
that I
couple.
think, yeah, there's been a couple times. For the most part, I think the refs do a pretty good job. They do a decent amount. They'll catch the pass shots to the groin. They'll catch the elbows to the head, the knees to the head, and for the most part, refs do a good job. But there's been a few where I'm like, yeah, you probably should have stopped that a little bit earlier.
Yeah, but it is the toughest job I think out there is the ref's job.
Oh yeah, without a doubt. I mean, even in this on UFC 96, Eve Levine stopped the fight and then said, "Go ahead, keep going," because the guy was like, "Wait, no, what are you
Woke
doing?"
up that quickly.
Yeah, but
He should have stopped it. That was over.
Yeah, he did, because the guy continued to take a pounding for another minute, and unnecessary pounding, and the guy who ended up winning, I can't remember the guy's name right now.
Brown, somebody Brown.
Yeah.
Was
But-
it Mike? No.
No, it wasn't Mike Brown. Mike Brown's the
Matt
big-
Brown or something.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think
but
it's Matt Brown.
He looked at the ref and he's like, "Are you going to stop this?"
Right.
Before Pete Snell finally was on the ground, he was just like, "Come hit me again, please."
Yeah, there could have been some real damage done after that.
Yeah.
But I
That's
do
the
respect the referee because he came out and he said, "Hey, I made a huge mistake. I need to learn from this mistake." I mean, what else can they do?
And that's the thing, sorry to cut you off, but that's the thing, what's crazy to me is when a fighter realizes, and I'm sure you've been in situations too, where you're taking care of a situation with a guy so well, so effectively as a fighter, that you realize yourself as a fighter, that dude's hurting. Like, if I do something else to this guy, this could be bad, and you back off, at that point you would think the ref would immediately just be like, okay. Because even the fighter's backing off. But half the time the fighter, if you notice in most of these cases, fighter looks at the ref, and the ref's just like this, and the fighter always does this thing, and then goes right back in on it. So, you would
Well,
think.
their job is to fight. It's the referee's job to stop. I've been refereeing for over 15 years with this, and it's tough.
Yeah.
But I mean, I tell them it's your job to fight. It's my job to stop it. I'll tell this one here, but I've got to be on top of it, and I take that responsibility, and I try to be there and everything else, and it's tough sometimes.
Yeah. Well, in the UFC, you've seen Steve Mazzagatti, Eve Levine, and Herb Dean, Big John McCarthy. You've seen all these guys get booed for stopping a fight too soon. But at the same time, what a lot of people don't realize, they want to see the guys get beat up, but
I've seen them miss a lot of stoppages, just as many, just terrible.
Yeah, but the refs need to stop it, and they need to protect the fighters.
Well, I don't think those guys are. I mean, I guess they're the greatest. I don't know.
Well,
I mean, I've seen.
They're the highest paid.
The judges they have out there, it's unbelievable. So does
Yeah,
anybody
well-
hold anybody accountable for the judging? I mean, when the one judge is that far off, he shouldn't be judging again.
yeah,
I mean, if it's that-
Dan Henderson versus Rich Franklin, UFC 93. You had Dan Henderson with 2 29-28s, and Rich Franklin had a 30-27.
Which I thought that fight was way.
Who did the 30-27? Do you recall?
I don't remember which.
Because it's
judge
always
it
that
was.
same guy who's way off.
Yeah,
It's the old
and-
boxing.
But I mean, how can you even justify that? The other two judges have one round going to Franklin. I can see that, but you got a 30-27 card with two other guys having 29-28 for the other fighter.
There's something wrong.
Yeah, there's
But
something
I
very
don't.
wrong.
I don't know if they take him and say no more. You're done judging. You're just not very good at this. Or if they keep letting him judge. I know in boxing, it's happened for year after year after year.
Mm-hmm.
Guys blow the call and they still they're on the next title fight. And it's like, well, he blew the last one, he did it again, and he's still on the next one. I don't get it.
Now, forgive me.